Cubs crush the Rockies, and they have their first win streak of the season. Let's go.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Cubs crushed the Rockies 12-2 on Tuesday on a cold and windy night at Wrigley Field. Cubs have won 3 straight games and have their first win streak of the 2024 campaign. Northsiders got many offensive contributions. We'll talk about those. And Javier Assad pitched 6 scoreless innings. We're going to break down all of it, Sam. It was a great day for the Cubs.
You know, I don't like to make long-term conclusions over short spans of baseball. With that being said, I think it's safe to say this. I don't think the Rockies are very good.
I know.
And I don't think they're going to have a very good season.
Might not break the 60-win barrier.
I know that they'll get some cheap Coors Field wins. But they have been extraordinarily poor. That's an oxymoron.
Some softball scores at their place, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was they've been a disgrace. With that being said, those are big wins for us. We need to stack up these wins. You got to beat these teams.
Have to.
And I don't even know where to start. I mean, it was the most Assad outing you could have. Early.
First and second, he wasn't very good, but then he evened out.
Yeah, and then he just finds ways, line out double plays to right. I mean, some guys just have that. Right. So he was good, and Saya's just crushing the ball. Bellinger, Morel, we both had calls on Spaces. We both got our calls correct. So join us on Spaces next time. And then, of course, the big game was Garrett Cooper. And
3 hits.
One single away from the cycle. And, this isn't like some flash in the pan guy. This guy made an all-star team. He can hit. He doesn't stink. So it was nice to see him. And Madrigal had a really nice game over at third, hit the ball well, and made a nice play on Chris Bryant, who's yet to get a base hit.
It was a great night overall for the Cubs. It was started off for me with that Saya 2-run homer at the bottom of the first. 115 miles per hour. How does that happen?
Yep.
It's crazy. A couple innings later, Christopher Morel, another home run for him. Nick Madrigal, as you said, Sam, RBI single and a 2 RBI double. Ian Happ RBI single, and to cap the scoring, Garrett Cooper and Cody Bellinger put the Cubs over the top with a 3-run and a 2-run homer, respectively. 8 players reached base 2+ times, but it was Cooper that led the way with 3 hits. Everybody was smoking the ball against Rockies starter Kyle Freeland, and then every other Rockies pitcher pretty much after that, maybe even to the extent that Freeland maybe some pitch tipping, but
I don't know.
I think he had a lot of the plate.
Yeah, I don't know what it is for Mr. Freeland, but it might be time for him to take a breather.
Suzuki, the Happ, Suzuki, Bellinger, Morel 1 through 4. I'm not gonna. We're never gonna apologize for our thoughts and feelings on the show, and so I won't. But through 5 games, that 1 through 4 gets me excited.
Mm-hmm.
You might say it's one of the best 1 through 4 in the sports history.
No, don't start here, please. Okay. Well, and
No, but it's exciting. People accepting walks, hitting the ball hard, batting where they should, and it produces results. Amazing.
yeah, I think you have to. What are they 3-2? So 5 games in.
Right.
That's what 3 + 2 would be.
Yes.
I think early in the year last year, I remember we flexed our muscles in Oakland. I think Patrick Wisdom hit about 9 homers in that series.
He was crazy in that series.
So, you want to take it with a grain of salt. But I thought offensively, even in Texas, they were hitting the ball. The only really bad offensive game I thought they had was the Saturday night game against that Bradford kid.
Mm-hmm.
But they hit the ball pretty well off Evaldi. Didn't have much to show for it. Scored 9 runs on Sunday, 5 yesterday, and then today. I mean, they absolutely scolded the baseball today.
It's crazy.
I mean, I'm not sure I've ever seen off of a starting pitcher that many 100-mile-per-hour hit balls. I mean,
Like
it
10.
was crazy.
And in that weather, if that matters.
Right. It was crazy. It was and this is what this offense does, though. They get really streaky. They get really hot. And when they're really hot, if you remember August of last year, because really, we're pretty much talking about the same guys. It's the only thing that's changed is I think Morel looks like he's definitely went up a level, maybe even 2. Hopefully Sayas went up a level for the whole year, and then mixing in a Cooper and a Bush at first base. Otherwise, it's the same guys. We're talking about our Dansby. We're talking about Nico, Bellinger, Happ, whatever. And Happ hasn't even really gotten going yet. I mean, he's gotten some good results, but he hasn't really gotten going. But the Cooper thing is really fascinating because I believe he's on a 15-day tryout. And if he continues, and obviously hitting like this is, ridiculous, but if he continues to put good at-bats together, I like Patrick Wisdom, but Garrett Cooper, his whole career, has been a better hitter than Patrick Wisdom on paper.
Yeah.
So
he just has the better resume.
The option situation better than me. I don't know what they could do with that, but, I think Garrett Cooper can hit, man.
Wisdom does have one option left. So even after his so-called rehab or building back up to get into a game, to game action, he can be sent to Des Moines. And they could bring him up and down as many as 5 times during the year. That's how it is with all players that are optionable. But it's definitely an option in the playbook if Jed wants to use it. And if Craig Counsell and Jed Hoyer think that Garrett Cooper offers the best profile for right now, and just that he's playing well, then I think you do stash Wisdom with the iCubs and, utilize that option. Doesn't matter that he's making 2.2 M's or whatever he's making, because there's other guys down there that are making, their money as well. So that's not necessarily a concern. And then you bring him up when you need him, whether it's poor performance or injury. And I think that definitely could be something they explore moving forward. I do like the Cooper topic, Sam. I think it's a good one. His bat to ball skills are real nice.
Yeah, he's not a strikeout guy.
And whether it's against a lefty or not. I mean, obviously the profile against lefties we always liked. It was attractive. But if he keeps playing well and realizing that he was an all-star in 22, he had 17 homers last year, he has an established veteran resume, I think he could last beyond, mid-April.
Yeah, and I want to say one more thing about this game. And it's picky.
Yeah, I got a couple more here.
Yeah, it's picky, but it's a point I have to make. The game was a blowout today, so I don't count it. The next time Suzuki gets rung up on a terrible call, Counsell's got to go. He's got to go. Okay? Because Suzuki is as locked in as he's ever been right now. All right?
Yeah.
He's hitting the ball 100 miles an hour every single time. The only way he starts to get into a funk is if he starts swinging at pitches out of the zone. And back-to-back days, he's gotten calls. I don't know if it's the way he takes pitches that influences the umpire, but some of these pitches, they're not even close. The 3-2 pitch he got rung up on today would have been a ball to Bill Russell.
It was bad.
Okay, it was over his head.
Right. Well, we've been preaching this for a year.
And you got to protect him.
Well,
he is your most talented offensive player, although Morel is starting to flash. I don't want to start, but Morel's starting to flash some things offensively, like with his bat speed and his eye that are very, very tantalizing.
Very encouraging, you might say.
Yeah, I think Suzuki, like he has a great idea of the zone, and I'm sorry. And you know me, I'm getting better with the stuff. If it's close, it's fine. If it's 3 balls above the top of the zone isn't supposed to even be called.
Yeah, well, why is that even being called?
And Suzuki's not going to get ejected himself. That's not how he is.
You have doubts that Counsell will come out?
Huh? No, I don't have doubts, but it's just been early in the year. It's really bothering me how it's like 4 times already he's been called on terrible pitches.
Okay, well, I think he's going to come out in the snow Wednesday night.
Are you starting to lean towards that ball game's going to be played? Because I would prefer it not to be.
We're going to talk about that later in the show, but I'm looking at the forecast, fam, and I see them playing that game, dude.
Oh, man, I got some stuff to do tomorrow night.
No, they're going to play that game. No, I don't know for sure. But a couple other notes that I had from Tuesday night's win. First, Quas and Little cleaned up Assad. I think we did mention that already.
And Quas has got to figure out his release point.
Sure. Well, he throws from, the odd angle. Little looked tremendous again. I'm starting to get on the Luke Little train. If people want to send me some conductor hats or something like that, I know that was a point of contention in the offseason because he threw 6 2/3 innings last September, and people wanted to knight him the closer role. So he is pitching well, people, and I do admit that. Let's see what else here. Madrigal solid at third defensively, Sam.
Well, yeah, we know that.
He really showed out. He gets on a belly. He steps to his target. Yeah. Okay, he actually has a decent arm. He gets the job done over there, and then I would say and then some. Mastro did sub for Swanson, something that Ron Coomer brought up on the radio broadcast and kind of maybe subtly took a dig at David Ross.
What did he say?
Saying, hey, Dansby Swanson coming out of the game this early up big. That's good. That's going to pay off later on as Mastro sub for Swanson there. Shout out to Ron Coomer.
That might be a Bikram yoga stretch by you there.
Talkman subbed in for Bellinger. Bush subbed for Cooper. Amaya did catch this whole ball game as Jan Gomes was the only one in the gym shoes in the dugout. And Sam, I hope they play tomorrow, because I'm confident the Cubs will sweep this team. I know it's going to be brutal conditions, but if you could get to 4-2 before the deferred Dodgers, you got to do it.
Couple of things. Somebody in the chat said over under 8 times in a season would I get ejected? I would get ejected like 50 to 60 times. I think you know that pretty well.
Yeah.
I'd like them to play, but if they play Thursday, fine. If the Rockies come in, whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
One more thing on the Cooper thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, this doesn't mean that Bush's spot's in jeopardy after one ball game. Bush has put together good at bats. He's a nice young prospect. Everybody cool the Jets. It's the Rockies. Good win, 3-2. If they play tomorrow in this Christmas type weather, maybe they will get another win. The deferred cheating Dodgers will come to town this weekend. I already have those pitching matchups memorized. I have some things we'll talk about for Friday. I think the Cubs could win one. Maybe they even steal it. And then
really? Bobby Miller and Yamamoto are pitching.
Yeah, but it's going to be chilly, Matthew.
No, just Friday.
The spin rate stuff.
It's going to warm up this weekend.
Sometimes it doesn't carry well at Wrigley Field.
Okay.
When you rely on that. Maybe one of those guys can't grip the baseball.
All right, well, maybe, Saturday more than Friday. Bobby Miller's a stud.
Or maybe they lose, by a combined score of 29-5. And then we go out west and we don't really come back until July 4th.
Coming up next, the bullpen didn't have to be used really at all on Tuesday, and certainly not in high leverage in a blowout situation. But let's review how Craig Counsell has used his new team's bullpen so far. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time, our great partner here on the show. And Game Time, some breaking news here, is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. The experience of searching for and then buying tickets on Game Time is simple. And with the weather heating up this weekend, I have my eyes on Cubs-Dodgers on Saturday. If someone wants to go with me. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. For a limited time, all users can get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the Game Time app with code FIRSTPITCH. Terms do apply. That's First Pitch for $20 off only through this April 14th. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest priced, guaranteed with Game Time. All right. Craig Counsell and the bullpen so far. How has the new manager on the north side utilized this? 8 relievers, so it makes the bucket, Sam, pretty easy. Right now I have it half and half. Leiter, Merriweather, Neris, Alzolay, all high leverage. Almonte, Quas, Smiley, Little, all low to medium leverage. I do think Luke Little has a chance to become high leverage, especially early in the year, but we haven't seen that happen just yet. Bullpen did carry a 4.15 ERA in their 17 innings entering Tuesday's action. Your thoughts on Counsell and the bullpen, because that's one of his career strengths in the managerial seat.
Yeah, fine early on. Only thing that I would say was slightly unexpected would be just how early he's gone to Merriweather, but it feels like Merriweather.
Well, strategic.
I think Merriweather's become his leverage guy. So I wouldn't even say high leverage. Just anytime in a spot of leverage, it could be the 5th inning. If it's 2-2, middle of the order's up, bases loaded, 1 out, maybe that's Merriweather's spot. Just like a designated leverage guy. It seems like Neris is the 8th, Adbert's the 9th, and then Merriweather's going to be the guy that gets the chunk of the lineup. Yeah. That middle of the order when it's needed. So that makes sense. And then Leiter's the lefty high leverage guy for now. I think Little will graduate over to there. Almonte hasn't looked sharp. Quas did not look sharp today.
No.
And I think Smiley's kind of like a hybrid type of guy.
Like a Prius.
Yeah, like a Prius. Do we know who's pitching if there is a ball game?
All right. So as of recording time, we don't know who's pitching, but I would guess a combination of Ben Brown and Smiley.
Lovely.
But maybe a listener can break the news for us before we get off the air. I'm sure that's being reported out of Wrigley as we speak. I like Merriweather and what Counsell's doing. I would call it the middle closer. That Merriweather is. I like that term a lot. Early indications from Leiter is that the splitter has resumed its effectiveness.
Absolutely.
And he's a pseudo lefty. He throws right-handed, but really he throws left-handed.
Right.
Whereas Drew Smiley throws left, but he's more effective against right. So it's kind of a maze down there, but whatever works. Hector Neris got squared up a couple times in the opener on Thursday last week. Otherwise, has looked good. And Adbert Alzolay with, obviously a big-time exposure on opening night. And, I think we both have concerns about him.
Yes.
Especially against lefties.
Yes.
And if you're going to be a closer, you got to get outs for both sides of the plate. You're not a specialist if you're a closer.
Let me cut you off for 1 second. It's that for sure. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is just like he pitches too much to contact in the 9th inning. like if it's a 1-run game in the 9th inning and you're a closer, you got to miss bats. They exist, pitch to contact closers. They do.
Right,
They've had, there's been there. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Like I think Mark Melancon maybe had some success. I don't know how many strikeouts he used to get.
Okay, yeah.
He would throw that cutter. Of course, Mariano, he would strike out a lot of guys, but the cutter would just saw bats off. Obviously, Adbert doesn't have, I don't even know why he said that name. It's the greatest to ever do it. But I just would like to see Adbert really, and I know it sounds crazy, hunt strikeouts more.
I don't think it's crazy at all. He should definitely do that.
420 live right now on a freezing, rainy, cold Tuesday evening.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody watching on demand and the replay or rewatching. Gosh, really a big shout out if you're rewatching. Shout out to all the audio peeps, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And for our last segment, let's preview this final game. We're going to give you a weather report and take a look at what could be in store for Game 3 and a possible opportunity to get out a piece of, what would you call it? Houseware? I don't think that's a term, but a possible early opportunity for
a broom.
Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, our great partner here on the show. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and then watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season is officially underway, and don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and then add them to your Prize Picks entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play with your entries, taking less than 60 seconds to submit, turning $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps of your screen. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's a first deposit match up to $100 by using code LOCKEDONMLB. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. TBD versus Cal Quantrill at 6:40 p.m. Wednesday. Likely a combo of Ben Brown and Drew Smiley. The high is gone up a little bit. High of 42 in the Windy City on Wednesday.
Oh, then they might play.
50% chance of snow, and that is from 6 to 10 a.m. And then it plummets down. But so does the temperature, hovering around 39 reg temp at first pitch.
39 with no precipitation. They're going to play that game.
And we're going to get a good amount of snow in the suburbs, Sam, by you and I. But in the city, they're only going to get up to 1 inch. And again, that's in the morning commute. So I'm starting to think that they're going to play this game, man.
Is there some sort of are you doing like an ode or a tribute the last couple of weeks to Tom Skilling?
Because I think so. I'm actually trying out for the open spot on Channel 9.
Is it intentional? Because you really talked a lot of weather this week.
No, and I think I'm pretty good at it.
Well, I left you a nice audio. What was it about?
It was great audio today.
10:45 this morning, something like that.
10:31 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would appreciate maybe an update maybe around 11 or so tomorrow.
Yeah, I got you.
And how much would it take for you to attend Wednesday's game?
Yeah, against the same situation, Wednesday night Rockies.
Yes. Would we have to pay you to attend a Cubs game?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It would probably honestly, I think I would need about $500 to go to that. I mean, come on, it's freezing. There's going to be nobody there. I'll tell you this. Let me see where my plans fall. I might have some plans. We'll see for Saturday, but it's just, it's too early to go to the games. I feel like I'll get in trouble too because I'm going to really be yelling a lot of deferred
Wicks versus
comment.
Yamamoto, possibly.
Is that Saturday? I thought Wicks was going to go Friday.
Well, no, that's Hendricks.
No, that's
sir.
Hendricks.
Yeah.
Hendricks, Wicks
versus
Imanaga.
Yamamoto, man.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It might high of 55 and sunny right now.
Oh, okay. That's
Go
doable.
Cubs.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Well, I wish
hope to break out the brooms.
I wish it would be like
Go
this
Cubs.
over the weekend because it would be a disadvantage for the Dodgers. 55 and sunny, they could put up 20 runs against them.
Yeah, especially with how Mookie Betts is playing.
Yeah,
Holy
Betts
smokes.
and Ohtani and Freeman and Smith, Hernandez. I mean,
Muncy.
this team are cheating. That's not the right word, verbiage. Cheaters.
All right, Cubs Rockies 6:40 Wednesday night. They might play that game. They might not. Whether they play or not, we'll be here on Thursday. If they play, we'll be here Wednesday night exclusively on YouTube, 10 minutes after the final out. And always the next day, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcast. Another show in the books, and after a Cubs win. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
There is momentum happening here.